So it's been no easy journey, and what kept us going through those times was just this sense that the recruitment agency market just needs fixing. There's some deep-rooted issues, the stigma, for many different reasons, but ultimately we felt that we'd stumbled upon a way in which we could improve things. It was nothing new, we're not really reinventing the wheel. I think if you look at sectors like car insurance, holidays, flights, there's a lot of marketplaces out there, a lot of plays where companies have come in, consolidated a supply chain and made it easier for consumers to find the right supplier in the right moment, and that's really all we're doing at Hiring Hub. And yeah, so this is where we are today, I think, in terms of the sentiment towards agencies. We view them as a necessary evil. And I think there's loads of reasons for that. The cold calls, the sense that you're not getting value for money, the time it takes to manage them, you know, all of that stuff. But actually, if you get a really good one, and they understand you, they're high value. Like we were talking earlier about Burberry going to Leeds, you know, if you get an agency in Leeds that happens to know every senior architect out there, then you're in a good place. So we looked at how we could engineer a platform that would help take some of these issues and in fact behavioural change really in the industry. Unfortunately, the market's coming with us. So this slide, rather neatly, this is ONS data, and it shows you the growth. Well, it shows you the fragmentation in the industry. So back in 2010 when we launched, there was only 3,000 recruitment agencies in the UK with fewer than 5 employees. There's now almost 11,000. Well, there's 11,000 with fewer than 10 employees. So just massive fragmentation in the sector. If you look at the sector from a financial perspective, you've still got Michael Page, Reed, Randstad, Adecco, Hayes, these really big super brands at the top. And then you've got a mid-tier of really good specialist mid-sized agencies, you know, 200 people, 50 million turnover, those types of businesses. And then you've got this huge long tail of these 11,000 little guys that might just recruit Java developers in Leeds or botanists in Plymouth, you know, whatever they specialise in. But they're small. They tend to get to, you know, hit a ceiling of around a couple of 100k turnover and can't get past that. Some have absolutely no intention of getting past that. It's a lifestyle business. There's 2 mates, they've left Michael Page, set up on their own, and they're quite happy to not grow. Others do want to grow but struggle to find you guys, employers to work with, and just the complexities of growing a business. So, but actually, yeah, as a group, they represent over 80% of the supply chain now in the UK. So if you're working on a PSL with a couple of the big guys, you're actually only working with a quite a small percentage of the actual overall industry. These guys are really where it's at, and they tend to, because they own their own businesses, they care a little bit more. They'll answer the phone at 10 o'clock at night. They really think about their reputation. And I guess what we're really trying to do at present, I might be skipping ahead a bit, but the opportunity I think for us is to bring these guys together on one platform and build the tools to help you find the right agency in the right moment and then work with them in a really efficient way. So every bit of tech that we're building, every product we'll develop will be centered around that core ethos of identifying the right agency in the first place. And there's a number of different ways we can do that, and we'll come to that in a second. But then the relationship, how you communicate with your own teams on the platform, how you communicate with the supply chain, etc. And yet the market just feels primed with those. Like I said, the UK agency market, I think, contributed over 35 billion to the UK GDP last year, so it's huge. 11,000 agencies, I think about 650,000 permanent placements made by agencies in the UK last year. And unhappy customers that just aren't really delighted with the status quo and the service they're currently getting. And again, with the number of agencies in the market, we find that companies stick with the PSL because there's no genuine alternative. You can't possibly go out and find a niche specialist agency for every role you're working on. It just doesn't makes sense in terms of your time. So you stick with the PSL of 3 agencies, 10 agencies, whatever, because that's the only possible way you can manage the supply chain at the minute. And equally on the flip side of that, these agencies can't grow, they can't build their companies because they just can't get a clean route of access to you guys. So yeah, over the last sort of 12 months, like I say, we're 7 years old, but it's really, we raised some money in 2014, which enabled us to really jettison that first investor, got him out of the business, matured it significantly, grown well over 100% year on year since then. And over the past 12 months, put together this team of people that are now kind of come together to address this problem. And it's, you know, I'm really proud to have these guys involved because they come from such pedigree. So James Kidd was 15 years at Virgin, well 18 years at Virgin as their brand and marketing director under Richard Branson. He's most recently been at Purple Bricks as marketing director. He devised their go-to-market strategy and they've gone from 0 to about 1.3 billion market cap in 4 years. Anna Dick, unfortunate surname, bless her. But she was at Money Supermarket in the early days. She went to On the Beach, was the first tech hire there, and built their tech team. She's since been at the BBC. We've pulled her out of the Co-op. She's our new CTO, and she's charged with bringing tech in-house because we've outsourced it to date and building our internal capability. And interestingly today, you know, we're going through a lot of you know, I'm learning because we're going through some of the stuff that we've been talking about. We've doubled headcount in the business, we will do by Christmas, and that's all happened in the last 3 months. Next year we'll double headcount again. At the minute I'm kind of chief recruiter because I've built the management team, we're going from there. So a lot of the things you're talking about, the tools you're using, I'm really interested in. We've also got Pete Wade, who's the CFO of eBay out in San Francisco, investor director of PayPal, so helped eBay buy PayPal, transferred across there and floated that company. Ian Brooks was 15 years MD at Lorien Resourcing, floated that business on AIM, became part of Impelum Group, the second largest staffing company in the UK. And Georgina Crosswell, she's ex-Slate Room's marketing director. She's working with James Kidd to kind of devise our advertising media strategy for next year. And we just closed a round of investment that finally allows us to actually do what we've been planning for the last sort of 12 months and take this to market next year. And yeah, the reason we've kind of hit upon the marketplace as a principle, as a platform to do what we're about to do. Well, I say about to do, we're already doing this. We're trading, we've been going for 7 years, we've got some amazing customers. We were actually bizarrely profitable last year, which is not something we wanted to be because we should be investing in growth and growing a bit quicker. But underpinning all this is a really stable company. But the reason we've gone for an online marketplace is because by bringing the supply chain together and bringing you guys together into one ecosystem and clashing you all together at once, you get a number of benefits. Speed's one. I mean, we had an example a few weeks ago where B&M Retail put a vacancy on a Monday morning, and they'd filled it by Wednesday afternoon. So 2.5 days time to hire, which is they thought was incredible. But our average time to hire on the platform last year was 19 days. So 2.5 is very fast for us even, but 19 days is the norm. So things tend to happen quicker. They happen quicker because you're accessing this supply chain of small agencies. If they have a candidate, you'll get them through within 24 hours at least. And if they don't have a candidate, you can get multiple agencies working on that vacancy very quickly, and within a day or two, you'll start to see candidates come across. Things tend to move quickly, and that's to do with speed and reach. There's plenty of other efficiencies that you can build into marketplaces too, and it's just a general value. You know, when you go on Hiring Hub at the minute, you set your own fee up front, so you say, I want to hire a finance director in Leeds, and I'm willing to pay X. The agencies, it's super transparent, they can see that. If they've got a candidate and they're happy to work at that fee, they'll engage with you. The agencies you approve can then submit their candidates and you manage the whole process on the back end. And the one thing that the marketplace and being an online business allows us to do is measure the performance of these agencies and really start to track their activity, which we hope will inform them and ultimately alter behaviour. So we're measuring things like the number of vacancies they engage on, how successful or how many candidates they submit, how many of those candidates get through to a telephone interview, a first interview, second interview, an offer. We're not yet measuring retention, but it's something that we'd really like to do. It's just how we manage to do that without annoying you by calling you up every time to see if someone's in the role still after 3 months. But we can start to build a picture of who's good in a market. So you could search for an IT recruitment agency in Bristol and it will bring up the agencies that we've got within the community and it will rank them in some sort of order. And again, the customer reviews thing, like with all the marketplaces at the bottom there, trust and reviews kind of underpin everything that they do. You know, I recently bought some light bulbs on Amazon and I was interested to see what the people said about them before I bought them. It's just the way that we consume things these days and buy. So that's the path that we're going down. This is actually a customer, Nigel at AutoCab, local business. They're kind of the anti-Uber, so they develop all the software, mobile phone apps, etc. for taxi firms that aren't Uber, to make them a little bit more like Uber so that they text you when they arrive and they have navigation tools in the cars, etc. I think these guys, they really struggle because they don't have a brand. You know, Uber can attract some great engineers because of Uber, the brand. These guys are based up in Cheadle in the northwest. Great company, zero brand and employer value proposition, so it's like, what do they do? Well, they've been using Hiring Hub. I think we accounted for about nearly a third of their hires last year. About 40 odd people, and like I said, they've really cut time to hire down to, I don't know what their average was. Their average is similar to our average, about 18, 19 days. He's delighted, hence he now stars on our website, which is about to launch in 2 weeks, the new site. And again, we're lifting the agencies onto that platform and making them kind of front and centre. This is all dummy text because it's all in development right now, but you'll be able to go on, search for an agency in whatever sector, see who we've got on there, the profiles, see things like how many jobs they're working on, how many they've filled, employer reviews, candidate reviews, where they rank in the whole ecosystem. And this is great for you guys because it gives pure transparency, but for these little, we've got one-man bands on there through to people with 6, 7 staff. It's really important for them to have us in the market kind of championing their value and trying to really sell their value to you guys. And it's kind of a TripAdvisor platform for them, allowing them to get found in the first place. As I said, I shouldn't downplay really what we've done to date. We're actually Silicon Valley scale-up company. We've been 3 consecutive years on the startup top 100. We're a top 50 fast growth business in the north. We work with some great clients already. We've got some great customer case studies, and it works. I'd say in the journey of where we're going, we're here and we want to be here. But actually, we've got a functioning marketplace. We've got 350 odd customers. We've got about 90 recruitment agencies at the minute serving them. And with the launch of the new platform and the fresh investment, we hope to get up to 300 agencies before Christmas. Launching a big media campaign here in London, actually, come February next year. So really in a position now where we can start to really fuel some growth. And in terms of where we're going roadmap wise, we've got the senior team in place, got a great team full stop at Hiring Hub, just raised some money to allow us to do some stuff, even sponsoring stuff like this and get this kind of feedback, which I'm hoping to get in a minute. The new website launches next month. Media campaign in February, and then we're going to hopefully use that as a test case to roll out a national campaign come the year after. And I say hopefully, we need to get that test case, that evidence to show the investors that they can put far greater sums of money to work in our company and allow us to really push this nationwide.